Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, we have another episode of the Salty Batch Files. More examples to go over. There's always a new narrative with the Xbox camp over there, and that's why we just have to share with everybody out there. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, we have more new Xbox narratives, more coping, more, therapy they have to do amongst themselves to talk to themselves, to tell themselves that Xbox is doing just fine, they're doing okay, and they have to put down the competition in order to do so in most accounts. So let's go back to a little quick archive here that's an older quote, an older tweet, an older post in regards to our good friend Colt Eastwood here. Now, this stating, Xbox exclusive Vampire Survivors wins best game. You really need to play it. It is so satisfying. Oh, well, I'm glad that he is saying that most of us have to play it. As you know, it is on Xbox and on mobile devices and stuff like that. Well, now, Vampire Survivors is a 2022 roguelike shoot-'em-up video game developed and published by Luca Gallant, also known as Ponko. Following an early access period from December 2021, it was released for the Mac OS, Windows, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Android, and iOS in late 2022. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I hope he holds that same energy and is excited for other gamers out there to go ahead and play this game, because it has been recently announced that Vampire Survivors is hitting other platforms as well, such as the PlayStation 5. And of course, that will come with the newly announced Contra DLC. So, just kind of wanted to throw this one up there as a warmer, as a startup here, because I love the energy that he puts behind some great games, and I agree, I'd play Vampire Survivors. I think it is a fun and addicting game, but hopefully he holds that same energy, because, wait, I guarantee he won't, but let's continue on here. So, now we have to switch the narrative, guys, to TV series, to movies, to stuff like that, because not only is gaming about competitive platforms within the gaming community, but we also have to bring up now streaming services of said TV series, right, in a way. So, AnnaAnsen, not someone that's new to this channel, after Hello the series, or Hilo the series, however you want to enunciate that, humiliated The Last of Us, it looks like Fallout on Prime is also going to humiliate The Last of Us trash show. Xbox wins on all levels. So again, they can't even hashtag the correct thing, so the brain cells and the IQ just aren't there for Anna. Just aren't there ever. So on top of that, Halo did not do anywhere near what The Last of Us did on a TV series if you're going to compare those. So right there's a major L, because you don't know what you're talking about, and it's really not hitting a lot of the strings for a lot of folks out there. Last of Us also been nominated by multiple awards over and over and over again with the TV series, and the second one being highly acclaimed as well for season 2, right? Then, of course, we have to bring in Fallout, the series, which has gotten great critical reception, mind you, has done phenomenal, gotten great reviews and scores on Rotten Tomatoes. But again, you put your foot in your mouth, because it still didn't beat the Rotten Tomatoes scores and other scores that The Last of Us series, season 1 did turn out to be. So, who's the humiliated one here? I know, just the delusion in your world and in your mind, and to be that mouthpiece to all the casuals out there to look at something like that. Well, that's why we have channels like this, to kind of iron out the truth a little bit, so you're not just making that delusional world for all those that are not in the know. But let's keep going on here. So, sticking with the theme of the series here, good old Destin Legary from IGN, highly acclaimed IGN that's been around for years and years, and had a lot of great hosts and a lot of people working there that have been fantastic, and then just went down the crapper, really. Really, what's going on here is, you can see the Fallout on Prime show is the best adaptation I've seen, and just a great watch. I love it so much, I binged it over 2 days. I cannot recommend it enough. That should have been the end of it. That should have been the end of the quote, because that's fine. You enjoyed it, you thought it was the greatest thing, fantastic. We all have opinions, we all have tastes, we all have likes, and stuff like that. But he continued on, better than The Last of Us. It's a must watch. Because it's better than The Last of Us. He's saying it's better than The Last of Us. Because he had to put that quote in there. Why? Because it's Destin Legary. the biased IGN affiliate that has his own YouTube channel and other content as well that continually spits biasness towards his preferred platform. Just to put another one down, take a moment and let that sink in of this quote here. Just an FYI, this shows the kind of character and person that this idiot is. We don't need to say more, but truly a pathetic quote from a truly pathetic person, just stating that if I enjoyed The Last of Us more than Fallout, which I've yet to get to, I plan to because it looks super interesting and really good. When I get to it, I'm not going to sit there and say, you know, I really enjoyed Fallout on Prime, but it just wasn't quite better than what I enjoyed with The Last of Us. And in what no shape or form do I need to quote or post that? Not at all. There's no reason for it. And again, we all have opinions. You can think that even that amazing Halo show is better than Last of Us and Fallout combined. That's your opinion, that's fine. But to sit there and trash another series because of it, that's when you know you're full of shit. So, let's continue here. I love this little quick meme here because as of recently, if you don't follow Colt, I don't suggest you do because he's a moron and lies all the time with misinformation, this being one of them. He states, this could be a game changer. He had a video due to the Series X2. He has no information that's what it's going to be called. He puts a mock-up here. He has no idea truly what's going on with the next-gen system of Xbox, if that's indeed what's going on. But like this meme depicts, it's like, Phil, without spoilers, if you want to miss a few potential spoilers, I suggest you move ahead, I'd say about 30 seconds or so. But Phil's head is on the face of Abby from The Last of Us 2. Abby wants to demolish the Xbox, or Phil in this case, wants to demolish the Xbox Series X and move on to brighter and cleaner pastures, if you would so depict that upon being itself. But that being said, I think it's hilarious because it's the fact that it's true. You're admitting like this gen, and even last one wasn't great, right? Xbox One gen was not great. The Series gen, X1 and S, has not been fantastic. They've been struggling in a lot of ways, and they're looking to just put this out, and that's truly what should have been with Colt's video here, if at all true. But I just thought it was great to share real quick because we can never get enough Colt here, right? I'm going to not utilize this one piece of it here. I really want to share it, but I think it's just in poor taste from AnnaAnsen. Again, we'll just say that, but let's move on. I just don't think they need to be shared here. I did share it on social media, but on here I would rather not. RTX Curator, of course, this is another good one. RTX Curator stating 5 million active players for Starfield in the past 30 days in 2024, question mark. So he posts this data. Now, the interesting thing about this data is completely false. This is a made up site with not the correct information. So him and others like J-Rock and Darius Fears that are on social media, if you are aware of them, I have featured them a few times on this channel. This is incorrect information, and there's absolutely no validation or verification of these numbers, and more than likely they are false from a lot of folks that have reached out and shared that information with me and provided that proof for backup. I don't want to spoil that stuff or out anybody who's providing that kind of information, but it is interesting that I had no idea that this sort of stuff was even out there for false numbers. So now they're just grabbing these, Joe Blow made numbers and charts of, assuming numbers and putting things together that is not correct or true or have no way to pull from that. So it's really just interesting, but they just want to use it to, again, use this example of Xbox is doing great, Starfield Game of the Generation is doing great. It's not. It doesn't have a good player base. You can go on Steam right now and just look at that in real time if you want, just for that section. For the Xbox section, probably even less. But that being said, we'll kind of see what's going on there. But that narrative just sticks, right? It's making it up. They live in that delusional world. Really, and again, the casual person, even myself, I wouldn't have known. I've been like, well, they got some information. Maybe it's doing better. If it wasn't for me knowing who I know and then providing the information and facts behind that to back it up, then I also would not know. Simple as that. So I hate to see it. That's why I like to share that sort of stuff there. But let's go on to another hot topic here now. The latest thing has been Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is underperforming, says industry analyst. The analyst being a little bit incorrect because there's a lot of context to this here. But on this piece that I'm showing here, Falco X, again, been shown on this channel multiple times, does not show or hide any of his biasness or misinformation, but he states you don't have to be an analyst to see it. So I'm just confused here real quick. Falco and the rest of the gang that thinks that 2 million sales or so is bad. This is for PlayStation 5 only. So to put in context, folks, Dragon's Dogma that was highly acclaimed, that highly looking forward to, and a lot of people really enjoying right now, across multiple platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Guess how much that sold in the same amount of time? 2 million. Possibly close to 2.5 million within 3 platforms. So 2 million for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is underperforming. I'm sure they wanted more. It's a very known IP. But that doesn't mean it's doing bad or that it's failing. They said the same thing about Final Fantasy XVI, if you just remember not too long ago. Final Fantasy XVI flopped because it only sold 3 million in its first week. Interesting, because Resident Evil Remake, another highly acclaimed game and really loved and won tons of nominations, only sold 4 million at that time across, again, multiple platforms with PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So where's the narrative lie? And something I want to share with you real quick on this, by the way, is I'll pop this over here for you to read, but I'll just kind of skim through this as quick as I can. But there's a few obvious reasons for this puzzling sales performance. First and foremost, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one in the series with the whole remake stuff, launched in April 2020, right in the middle of COVID-19 pandemic, when the games industry experienced an unprecedented boost to gaming revenue and engagement caused by the mandatory stay-at-home laws. This is all factual. Moreover, that was also just a few months before the release of new consoles. PlayStation 4 is an all-time high install base, nearly 7 years after its launch, whereas PS5 has barely reached half of that time on the market. It is unlikely that this underwhelming performance will influence Square Enix's plans to complete the trilogy. The next and final installment is already in production, and the developers hope to be able to release the game in around 3 to 4 years. However, the low sales may persuade the publisher to quicker with porting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to PC. That could be a fact as well. And I thought it was a 3-month turnaround. That's the last I heard with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It was just a 3-month time window. There was never anything that was 100% factual to back that up, but they could see that happening, right? And we'll see if a lot of folks on PC buy those games. Now, what's interesting to Falco, and also the thing I want to say, is, again, nobody's being conditioned to buy games on the Xbox ecosystem. That's the problem. That's why they are where they are right now. They're releasing their first-party games on other platforms. It's because they've garnered and conditioned the fan base to rent their games via Game Pass. Putting PlayStation's games that they have exclusive times with, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, going to Xbox is not going to help it by much. It really isn't. So me being generous and saying, out of that ecosystem, they generate another 1 million sales. So now you're back up to the 3 million. So is 3 million good enough, or is that still considered underperforming? We don't know. And that's me being generous with 1 million sales. RPGs, JRPGs do not do well in the Xbox ecosystem. There's a lot of reasons behind that. I've gone over that in previous videos, but to save time, feel free to go back on those. If you want me to elaborate in a future video, I certainly can do that again. However, at this point in time, there's a lot of reasoning behind that. So again, just salty, port begging, wishing everything was over there, even though they don't play the games. That's what dumbfounds me. It's all about, look at this shiny new toy that's available over here as well. We're not going to touch it, but it's there. It's just there. That's the consensus of the whole thing here. So, speaking of that, what I want to wrap up this video on as well is a couple different ones. And speaking of J-Rock here, so speaking of games, sales, stuff like that, he states PlayStation data suggests 70 games are resulting in fewer sales. Estal, what did they expect? I don't know, you two. What did they expect? $70 reveals in itself less sales. I guarantee you people are buying FIFA full price. I guarantee you people were buying Dragon's Dogma at full price too. Any other new established game, Diablo 4 sold very well at $70. Now it's on Game Pass, right? Or soon on Game Pass, either way. People spend $70 on quality content. The $70 mark is not the issue. The issue is with the Xbox fan base not wanting to spend more than $20 on a game apiece. It's super rare. You may buy 1 to 2 games full price all year, and then you're still paying for Game Pass. So most of the games you are not paying full price. What do they expect? No, we don't garner, and we're not conditioned on most other platforms to rent our games. We buy what we want to buy to play, and we utilize that time to play those games. And we like supporting the industry and the devs. That's kind of how you get quality content. It's a weird concept. It's an odd concept to you guys out there, I'm sure, on how that works. But the more that you invest into something is typically a better return, especially in media outlets like that. So again, just to reiterate, you support the industry and devs. If you enjoy gaming and you want that quality gaming and you want them to do better and succeed and thrive and give you the entertainment that you truly do enjoy, I suggest you buy those games, not rent them, because that small little check that they get to be put on a subscription service is not as good as those of us going out there as consumers supporting those devs and those games that we truly do enjoy. Just a quick notation there for y'all in case you just can't understand that. Mainly the Xbox community. So let's go on to our last one here. And speaking of that, they're always quick to point fingers at the competition's house. But here we have from Idle Sloth, and this is all true. Several devs from Fable and Forza Horizon have left Playground Games. Now this is a big deal, first of all. This is a big deal. These are established IPs and franchises that these devs have spent an absurd amount of time and years into creating these games and making them the best they can possibly be. But for some weird reason, Playground Games doesn't have a new recruitment announcement to replace these people. Usually employees leave the studio when their work is finished. This is absolutely correct. It's usually not midway through, partway through, whatever the case is, without there being a reason behind there. And usually that reason is not good. Narrative director has a LinkedIn. Principal level designer, co-dev art director, script writer, principal vehicle artist, and the credit goes to Romulus, rather. So that's not just one or two. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 individuals from Playground Studios. Playground Games. I don't know what to say there. That's kind of left my jaw on the floor a little bit because I'm like, that spells trouble to me. That spells something's not right. And I've always said this, that the Microsoft studios are just not managed correctly or appropriately. There's just something off, and it's always been off. I don't know what it is, why it is, but that's just the case. So before you point fingers at sales, how much games cost, what great series is better than the other in your opinion, and have to put down the other series, maybe look at your internal house on what's going on. Your multi-plat games that used to be first-party AAA games, not staying around. Sea of Thieves is seeing major success over on the PlayStation ecosystem. There's the floodgates. Let's see what happens there. But yes, let's worry about sales and how Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't make over 3 million sales, being only on the PlayStation platform. Anyways, let's wrap up the video here. I appreciate it, guys. Everybody's support, I really do appreciate that. As always, at this time of recording, again, we are over 1,600 subscribers, getting close to that 2,000 subscriber goal. So thank you all so much. We're at 1,630. That is amazing. We're continuing to grow, and I appreciate that support more than you ever know. So that being said, definitely leave a like. Comment down below. Would love to hear from you. That also does help out the algorithm. Of course, if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself. And of course, last and not least, just remember, don't be a salty badge. And we'll see you guys next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. Take care.